Back in June of this year, on the Today Show, there was a video clip of a little 3-year-old boy named Jason Clamp, who had been born deaf. And through the marvels of science, they had implanted a device on the brainstem of this child. And they showed a video of when they turned the device on and the child, for the first time, heard a sound, the voice of his father. The surprise, the joy, and just the sheer delight of the child, the doctor, and the whole family was a marvelous thing to see. Kind of reminded me of what we're talking about in the gospel today. The miracles of modern science are something that have resulted from study and the hard work of man. In the time of Jesus, his healing and his miracles were done by him in a way that were unexplainable and still just as marvelous as what we see done today, but done much easier with a simple word or gesture, as we see so many times throughout the gospel. Now, John, our nice, irascible last prophet of the Old Testament, was in prison. He had denounced Herod for marrying his brother's wife. And John kind of knew that the end was near for him. But he said to his disciples, "Go and ask this Jesus if he's the one." He was attracting crowds. People were talking about him. And so they went. And Jesus looked and said, "Tell John, what did you see? Haven't you seen the deaf hear, the sight restored to the blind, the lame are walking," and they said, "Even some dead have risen." Now John knew Jesus was the one, but in a way the Jews were expecting a different kind of Messiah. They were expecting another king like David. And John took the moment to teach his disciples and hopefully turn them to Jesus to follow. In Advent, as we prepare for the birth of the infant Jesus, you might ask, why are we talking about the end of the ministry of John and Jesus' beginning ministry? But the idea is preparation. The idea is patience. Jesus is coming. He has come. We are celebrating his birth as an infant, but we are celebrating him as he was. And his message was one of bringing joy and peace and concern for all people. At Christmas, it seems we have patience and joy and want to share and give that love that Jesus has. We look out more for those who are hungry, those who are poor, those who don't have, those who are lonely, depressed. We're more willing to give a little of our time than a little of ourselves. And this is the whole point of Advent, of preparing that. But it should be a preparing to do that not just for Christmas, but for all of our life. That we're willing to go out to give of ourselves, our goods, our time, our treasure, to be there for people who need us, to give that word of encouragement, that moment of time sometimes we don't have, but if we sacrifice it, we're actually contributing to the good and the completeness of another person. So Christmas is about Jesus, but it's about our fellow man, about loving others, not loving ourselves, but to give of ourselves, give of our time, our talent, give of our treasure, as they say. This is the point. Patience, preparedness, giving. This is why we talk of John, we talk of Jesus, and the miracles he had to prove that he was the Son of God.